Okay, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to come hang out with me and do this with me. I really appreciate it. I always get joy out of seeing the comments and hearing what people have to say and just really getting a vibe from you guys. So I really hope you get something out of today's video. For you guys that have been with me for a while, what's going on, brothers? How you doing? I hope you and your families are doing well. Well, I'm back out again, doing what I do out here, as you can see, the place I enjoy. But today I want to talk to you about something that could save your life out here so you can have glorious, joyous days like I do, or at least save your bank account and your dignity. This is 12 Philippines expat mistakes that destroy new guys, and trust me, this is for people out here that I would call fresh meat. This is a warning for you guys. So moving to the Philippines for the first time can seem like a dream, can seem like, wow, this is like, I get to start over. This is something new. But then your brain gets clouded. It's like the atmosphere feels different. You heard about warm beaches and friendly locals, but you got to really think about the Philippines deeper than what you saw on the YouTube videos you watched or the blogs. They show you paradise, and I mean, it's good. And don't get me wrong, I've been at this a long time, probably longer than most of your favorite YouTubers that you listen to. But what I want to say is that I just have a different perspective of this. I put my reality in check when I look at things, because I realize that I can kind of see the forest through the trees here. So if you're headed out for the first time, even if you've already been here and you sipped a lot of San Miguel and you're not overwhelmed anymore, and you feel settled in, I want to let you know that there's still lots of guys, people out here haven't understood what they're really a part of and what it is here. So I got 12 truths for you, and you're going to see that these truths are not something you've probably heard before. So bear with me and stick to the end, because I saved the best for last in the 12. And these are really mistakes, right? These are things that I wish I knew, and some of the things I went through or my close friends went through. So let's dive right in. Once again, I want you to comment on these. What am I missing, right? These are, to me, short videos, so I don't get to say everything I want to say, but I try to condense it in something so you can really get to the meat of this and really just don't feel like you waste your time. So number one, don't think you're special out here. I remember I got into a situation with an apartment. It was a long time ago, but really I was in the wrong actual apartment by a mistake of the people that I got the apartment from. And one guy said, you think you're special, right? Because somehow he just thought, because I was, to him, not from around there, he thought that I was trying to do something where I thought I was special. But what this lead me to believe is that a lot of people maybe come off as to others as though they're special. So let me rip the Band-Aid off here and just get right into it. You're not special when you get out here. You're really not. And you're not the first foreigner to show up thinking that you discovered paradise. Every sari-sari store, every barangay, every beachfront property owner who looks like they've never met a foreigner before, they've actually met dozens of foreigners just like us. You may notice you get stares, and they'll stare at you kind of uncomfortably, which you're not used to, and that's just the culture thing that happens. Don't take offense to it, I believe, in most cases. You might think your accent is charming, your dollars are impressive, and your worldview is enlightening, but most people here, you're just another expat trying to find yourself between a bar, a beer, a visa run, a nice restaurant, right? And it's okay once you learn how to stop being like thinking that you're somehow impressing them. That's when you actually become interesting to them, right? So just let the ego go. And if you're in someone else's country, you know that you're on their basketball court. Basketball here is popular, so I just threw that in there, and it's their rules. You're a foreigner. You have a passport, and that passport doesn't make you a celebrity out here, regardless of maybe how you feel sometimes. I see a lot of guys, especially new guys, you can smell the fresh fish off the boat, and they're kind of like got to get something off their chest a little bit. And it's not their fault, right? Because you just feel different out here. And a lot of people boost their ego when they're out here. And while they're out here, they almost like feel like they're a gimmick, because you have to know when to put your ego in check. So relax, observe, definitely look, know your surroundings, but blend in. You don't need to stand out here, because when you stand out, you open yourself up to becoming a victim. So let's go to number 2 here, because this mistake number 2, it puts you in that like I said, opens you up. So this one slides right in there. I don't want people to broadcast themselves, right? I call it broadcasting the fresh meat syndrome. And man, new guys, they smell like fresh fish out here. They get off the plane, they're new, they get eaten alive. A lot of new guys walk around my city and they got this glow that's wide open, full of dreams, smelling like optimism, imported cologne. They look like 10 pounds lighter because they just feel like they got some spine in them, some backbone finally, and they've escaped what they call the matrix. And the locals, they're gawking at them. They're looking at them, especially the hustlers, the heartbreakers, the opportunists. They're all looking like, hey, this guy feels like he's just hit the jackpot of freedom. And they smell this on you, right? It's like fresh out of the pen, the slot machine vibe. And you feel lucky. But what I want to say is, if that's you, welcome to the Philippines, bro. But I'm going to show you some things. So stay tuned. This is going to get deep in a minute. And I really hope that you pack a lot more than just a tank top and enthusiasm. Don't leave your brain at the airport. Some people, they leave their brain on the airplane when they come. And you can't do that. Your head has to be on the swivel. You need to keep your street smarts, because that's the truth out here. When you're new, it shows. And too much of this, like saying like po, because you learned how to say po and you say po to everybody, that they get that, right? They understand you're being respectful, but they also smile at you, and they treat you like you're running for office, right? With all your pose, but really you could be just chumming the water to them. Number 3 here, you need to understand, and this is the mistake here, that you're being hunted. Unfortunately, you're being hunted. The sharks here circle around you. They swarm. And I'm telling you from experience, as soon as I got off the plane, my first time, what I realized is that coming over here, it's not a vacation unless you're living like a vacationer. I came like with the new essence, a new way of thinking. I thought everything was cool. Everything was wild, wide open. And with that, this place has rules. But when you first step off the plane, it feels like, wow, like the rules are different here, almost like there's no rules. And I loved it the first time, right? But then I realized, like, they don't circle, they swarm. So when you get off the plane, you may know this, especially at the Manila airport. You first come out, you might hopefully have somebody to visit you. Hopefully it's not the girl you've been talking to online for months, but you'll have people come up to you. You'll have women winking at you as soon as you get off the plane. You go into the village, you get the sorry store. You the way you hold your phone, right? They see all this stuff and they know that, hey, you're somebody that could be got. The trike driver who gave you the foreigner price, right? You notice that they look at you differently because you're wearing brand name shoes and not like the class B version that the locals get, right? You're there, they see that you're wearing, hey, yours look different than mine that almost look the same. So they know, they know that you got something that they don't. And the guy who keeps asking you for like a map, and if they can borrow some money next and pay you next week, they're all there. They're just waiting, right? It may seem like, hey, they didn't hit me up for money, but A lot of them are playing the long game. So be conscious of that. You didn't arrive in the Philippines, you announced yourself and you didn't even know it. Mistake number 4, you can't apply the Western logic to this Eastern reality here. The Western logic here is useless. Straight up useless. One of the fastest ways to get wrecked out here is try to apply the logic that you feel like should be, because you're used to things making sense, right? Out here, things don't really feel right, or if they don't, you need to really think. That's the rule book, right? You need to understand that. So you'll hear yeses all the time, and sometimes those yeses mean a maybe. You'll make plans for 4 in the afternoon and wonder why nobody shows up, and it's already nearly dark outside. Sundown, Filipino time is what it is. If it's too good to be true, it's probably because your girlfriend got 2 SIM cards, and unfortunately, there's one's for you, one's for the foreigner boyfriend that's in Dubai. And then she has another backup phone, and that's for the rest of the Sims, right? So you need to be conscious of all this, because if you're paying for love, what happens is they realize that they can scale that paying. So out here, logic is optional, but your ability to adapt. The adaptability is now at survival mode. This is their survival guide here. Mistake number 5, and this is getting good here. These are the real ones here. So there's something out here. It's chismes, gossip. You need to ignore it. Don't get caught up in it. You may hear your name. You may know somebody's talking about you. You can feel it, but this is mistake number 5. Everybody knows your business, even if you don't tell them. The gossip is all around the community. It's real. If you move to a small neighborhood within a week, I'm telling you, within the next week of that time, the neighbors will know your name, your girlfriend's name. They'll probably know the times that you leave during the day, your lunch schedule, where you go to get coffee, and everything about what's going on with you, including any things that maybe illnesses, sicknesses, when you go to the pharmacy, all that stuff. So privacy here is more of a concept rather than a practice. So don't be surprised people casually bring up details that you've never shared with them. They may even say something like, "Oh, I heard you went to this place last week with your girlfriend," or "Who's that new one that you're with?" Right? And it's not necessarily malicious. It's just the nature of a tight-knit community out here. It's kind of like rewinding the clock and going back. The social culture of this stuff is where everybody talks. Nobody minds their own business. Gossip travels far, like Wi-Fi out here, and you don't need to even repeat yourself, because somebody will repeat it for you. When you say something out here, people will hear and word will spread. A lot of expats come out here from the West and the countries where they can kind of boast and show off things. Don't do that here, because what's normal to you in your home country is not normal out here. People see these things differently than we do, and word travels about everything you do. Mistake number 6 is trying to save everybody. From where we're from, you see somebody, you want to help them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to realize you can't save everybody. And if you do try to save somebody, you should keep it in private, because you're not the savior. You're the supply. Some guys come out here and they just give too much. Most expats, they think they're going to save people or change their lives. You pour out your energy, your money, your time. You try to help people, fix things, save the day, not realizing in this country you have to be cool about this stuff. You have many have-nots, many people that have things too. But you need to know that the meaning of you being here and you making the most of this is you frankly staying to yourself and not putting yourself in a bad position, because your problems are your problems and others won't be so generous typically. So when you're running empty on fumes and you're trying to fuel the masses, it's not going to work. Trust me. And you may think you have a lot. You may feel like you have a lot, but a lot can go quickly, especially if you don't have income. Trust me on that. I know lots of folks that come out here thinking they can just live on a pile of something. but that doesn't always work. So trust me, people will take whatever you give them without question. You already smell like money. You look like your pockets are heavy, and you look like people want to talk to you. They look like you're open, and you have to think about like how much your pension is like gonna really help you out here. How much is that $100,000 gonna help you out here? How long is it gonna go? Because a lot of people will smile at you, and at the same time they'll be counting your pockets. They're pocket watching. So you really got to learn the game out here, and that's the only way it's going to go. You got to do it. Mistake number 7 is falling for the being poor is the hustle, right? Handing out loads of cash, paying everybody's hospital bills, lunches, and this ties into the last one, right? But a lot of people just fall for this being poor, like this whole thing, right? And you'll meet people who will tap you on your arm out here. They've never met you before, and they'll look at you with the hand to mouth, and it's just an expectation that you give them money like you owe them something. And you don't even you never seen them before ever, but you're a foreigner and you're glowing to them. I've been places where a lot of people around me, some of them for some reason or whatever, they need money and they tap me. And you got 5 or 6 others that come right around you. You look over your shoulder and they're poking at you too, because I'm different. I look like money. Even when I try to not look like money, I still do. And don't get me wrong, some of them are truly struggling, and you got to have a heart. And I've helped out others. I'm not saying not to do it, but what I'm saying is, like, if you give it out, don't expect anything in return, and do it with the grace of your heart and move on. But others, being poor is a hustle. They give you this pity pitch that they do, and you're their funding source, and you're the one that's going to show up, and they come out like with this whole mentality that you should have this Western generosity and assume that you're going to help everybody. But the streets here, they don't care about your intentions. They care about your wallet stamina. I have to talk about money a lot, gentlemen, ladies, because it is what it is. So I got to bring it up multiple times, different mistakes, because it comes in different angles, different ways. So let's move on. Mistake number 4, learning when to say no. Saying no becomes a skill that you learn ASAP. Filipinos, they're warm, they're generous, they're often good at asking for things, help, favors, rides, loans, school tuition, the cousin you never met before that asks you. But with this, you got to learn to say no with the kindness and clarity that you know how to do, or you should learn how to do, because you'll be drained emotionally and financially. And the problem is, saying no for a lot of people feels rude, especially in cultures that value harmony. And trust me, if you don't set boundaries early, you're going to regret it later. Just learn to say no, right, with a smile and mean it. And I've heard people talk about all these different strategies where they'll say, oh, they'll loan them a little bit of money, and then if the person comes back again, they can say, and they ask them for money again, they can say, oh, remember that money I loaned you? You never paid me back. They think that'll work. Maybe it'll work for some, but I can tell you that try it. I mean, I don't think that's ever worked for me, because people don't have any sort of guilt around owing you. They just think that that's just part of where you're at. It's a boundary, right? And boundaries are not rude. There's just survival out here. Nobody's going to save you out here, even if you're the one who needs help. Getting 500 pesos out of somebody here, one of the locals, is like pulling teeth. Like, you think they're going to pay you back like every week this amount of money, but if you need a backup emergency funds, or something happens to you and you need to borrow money, right, till you get paid, you're going to look crazy to them, because they're going to think, oh, you're a foreigner, you have money, right? And how did you run out of money, right? Even if you've been helping them for years, they're going to think that. And they don't see you as like just a human when it comes out here, when it comes to borrowing money. Unfortunately, some people will let you borrow money from them, right? But just know that there comes with a fine with that, and they're going to hit you back. It's not going to be the same price or the same amount. It's going to be more. It's going to be like, you paid me 7, you owe me 8, right? I paid you 9, you owe me 10, right? So with that here, like, just know that it's a rule, right? A rule of thumb. If you did borrow something from somebody, you're going to owe them more back, regardless if it was a day or 100 days. So saying no becomes a skill. You got to master it. You might want to practice even before you get out here. Mistake number 9 is peso thinking that drains your account, right? So you think pesos and you're going to start thinking like, 2,000 pesos. And then you're going to say, 2,000 pesos for dinner. That's nothing, right? $35. That's like 1/3 of what I paid from where I'm from. And okay, yeah, you compare it to your home country and it's a bargain, but let's keep it real. A lot of us move out here because we want a deal. So you think that that's $35 isn't that much, but doing it over and over again every night, it drains your wallet. And I'll tell you, there's certain things out here. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I have steaks. I pay more for steaks than I do in rent, the ribeye steaks. So I may pay $70 to $100, $300 for a steak. You made it to the middle of the video. You're already here, so I can tell you what I do because you're a trusted friend now for making it all the way through this far, right? And people go out to dinner with me and they are like, oh my God. Because some of them are gracious enough to think they're going to pay for the meal, but then they realize what I order. And then they realize, hey, like if I have friends of friends that come out, they often don't want to come out because they don't want to order that much. So just know that like you do that often. If you're not blessed to be able to do it, but you're just thinking in pesos, you may fall into this trap of spending too much because it's not cheap. I said $70, right? That sounds like home, sounds like somewhere else, right? Right. But it'll drain your bank account fast if you don't plan and know what you're doing. And you probably didn't even realize you spent that much on steaks and then coffee and grab rides, overpriced lunches because you're thinking in pesos. Thinking in pesos is smart while you're out here because you're spending in pesos. But if you start living like you're in California, New York, London, all the other places where I know people come from, what happens is it's hard to make it out here long term, right? You need to spend like the locals, just a little bit here. You're not on vacation if you're living out here. If you're on vacation, bless you. That's great, right? Shop it up. Do what you got to do. Blow that bag. Everything. Live it up. But if you're not, you need to learn like the locals. Learn how the locals shop. Mistake number 10 is not accepting that you'll always be an outsider, right? I've seen a lot of men, women, try to do everything they can to fit in, and you're not going to fit in. You're not. You're going to be a foreigner forever here. I don't care if you've been here 20 plus years, if you got here yesterday, if you speak fluent Tagalog, if you're ingrained with a Filipino family, right? You lived here and been through typhoons and earthquakes and volcanoes. Guess what? You're still a foreigner. And honestly, out here, it's not about racism when it comes to being a foreigner. It's just the reality of the culture. The culture is visual. They visually see you differently, and you'll always stand out, and they'll hear you differently. They'll approach you differently. They'll talk to you differently. They'll touch you differently. And this is just the charm and annoying, sometimes downright frustration. It depends on the day, though, how you feel, how you wake up in the morning. But soon you need to accept this. You're not a Filipino. The better you're going to feel, and stop trying to belong. I have to stress this because I see so many guys they'll learn the culture, respect the people, and everything else, but then they feel like they should be blending in, but you're not. Don't get upset about it. You're still an outsider because that's just the way it is. There's situations where guys go to family functions, family reunions, and everybody's talking and mingling, and the expat is just sitting there by himself in a plastic chair. Nobody's talking to him with a drink in his hand. Because they can't speak fluent English. He can't speak their native tongue. Sometimes people will come up and check on you and say, hey, how you doing? But it's like it's not the same, right? They'll cater to you. They'll make sure you're okay. It's not them being rude or anything. It's just naturally they're going to gravitate towards not even their own language, but their own like how they feel comfortable and how they feel like, okay, this is like more like a safe place for me. And it's good. It's a good idea to pick up the language. I'm not going to tell you like right now it's not difficult to understand or you can learn it easy or anything like that. But to understand the full capacity of what the language offers, Filipino people joke a lot, right? They catch you off guard with their jokes. They might make you feel a little bad the way they talk about you. They might like make you feel isolated, but you're in their country. It's your job to integrate yourself into the culture because also remember, right, where you come from at the same time. All right. Mistake number 11. It's become a complaint machine, right? You want to complain, right? In a lot of the places where we come from, what happens is you think that like there should be like a complaint department, right? You're going to become like a complaint like animal because you realize, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But really what it is, like, it's just people doing what they've been doing their whole lives. And I know people like myself, I try not to complain about anything unless it's really warranted, but I see things exactly where they are. I've been through enough things in my life just to be appreciative of what life offers, because sometimes I find myself complaining about things and then I have to catch myself. And the internet is terrible. I know that they have internet problems out here, and I still find myself saying, like, why are they singing karaoke at 2 a.m. and why are people partying and why are kids walking down the street doing a marching band 4 times a day with their school and making all this noise and slowing down traffic? And why is traffic getting worse than last week? Why are the roads this way, right? All this stuff, right? And sometimes I hear expats saying things like, why does the bank need to have like 10 signatures and a thumbprint to open up a bank account, right? It's just different. I say, welcome to the new you. This is your new life. Some guys are even constantly ranting on Facebook and places where there's expat groups. I see it, right? And I get it. It's their place to vent. And it's likely better that they venting anonymously somewhere on the internet, because to be honest, it's not your fault. Things here often operate their own way in a mysterious timeline, like logic and mood. A lot of us didn't come here to complain, but somehow the heat, the bureaucracy, even the karaoke machines that you thought were chill turned you into a grumpier person. And with this here, there's a part to this, right? It's like part one of a cycle. And there's multiple parts. You arrive, you fall in love, you get frustrated, you complain, you adjust, and then you go through the cycle again, right? Except the arrive is like you arrive at like, okay, I can accept this. So it's then an acceptance, but then you get frustrated at some point, and then the cycle continues. Just remember to keep your venting in check. That's the key to this, right? Because you don't want to get somebody mad over something that's not worth it. Because you're going to hear something crazy, you probably get yourself into some big trouble, hopefully little trouble. It'll happen. And you can't fix the system, but you can fix your attitude, you adapt, or burn out. And you could even just take a quick flight to take a break from it. And the last one here, mistake number 12, getting the expat belly and not caring, right? So the challenge with a lot of places where we live out here, it's hot, right? And the heat makes you not want to do things. So I see a lot of gals gaining weight. They get that belly, right? And some of us are going to get fat out here, and that's just keeping it real. That's just the way it is. They come out here with a decent body, and I was okay. I walk and things like that, but yeah, you eat a whole bag of lechon and you don't even realize how much meat you're eating. and the food is good, right? And because the food is good, and you have all the different things, the halo, the ice, the rice, the all the different things, your abs are replaced by a layer of what I call cultural appreciation, because the food is good out here. It's just it has that taste, but it's you know that comfort that you're feeling, it's also loaded with carbs, and you combine that, like I said, with the brutal temperatures out here, your motivation to exercise, because it's such a small window of when it's actually like cool enough to exercise outdoors or even walk outside, that heat will punch you in the gut, and you get that gut turns into a belly, and it's gonna grow and grow and grow until you find some sort of outlet. I have the AC on constantly. That's just the way it is. So I work out indoors, and that's how I get it done. So I don't have the belly, but trust me, it wouldn't take long. The gym culture and working out does exist out here. But you got to find it. It's in pockets of places, right? So unless you're motivated to find it and seek out those people, it's very easy to fall into the trap. And one thing I see is like there'll be a gym during the day, and then the gym will turn into a karaoke bar at night. So it's wild. So you have alcohol and weights. So I just want to wrap that up with that, something unique that I've seen out here. But I hope these 12 things that I provided here give you some idea of how to prepare yourself. And if you're already out here, how to maybe adjust your mentality and take a break, so you don't get yourself in trouble. Because living in the Philippines isn't about just palm trees and cheap beer. It's layered with a lot of complexities. This is a complex life out here, right? It sounds like, oh, this is a simple life, easy, but no, it's not, because if you're dealing with people, it can get funny, and especially in times when you don't expect it to be funny. And with this, there's things that you need to mentally prepare for. If you can embrace the quirks and laugh about it through all the chaos that will come your way eventually, you can leave your ego at the airport, and you'll find that life is pretty decent here, and it can deeply be rewarding if you actually just humble yourself and take life for what it is out here. The Philippines will either be the best time of your life, or it'll eat you alive and spit out your flip-flops. So the choice is really yours. You can either blend in, be smart, set boundaries for yourself. Don't try to fix everything, and stop announcing yourself. And that'll save you a lot of pain, headache in the future. So just stay humble, stay alert. Don't be fresh meat out here. Take yourself off the menu. And I appreciate you listening to this. I want to hear your comments below, because I said a lot here. My goal here was to have a charged up conversation and point out some things here. You may not like me as much anymore for the truths that I bring out, but that's why I have the comment section, because I want you to tell me your thoughts. I can't accommodate everybody here. It is what it is. This is my life. This is my experience. But what I want to do is give the guys out here that don't know, and girls, what's going on, the ability to make better decisions. So make sure you love yourself, take care of yourself, enjoy your time out here, whether you're retired or you're just here to enjoy the beach and the brown rice, and maybe find a new love out here, right? Just realize that life is too short to be worried about everything and things you can't control. And I want you to remember that I'm here for you. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, holla at your boy. Peace.